In 2009, Crystal Barrier Products began with net sales of $1 million, and in one short year, turned that number into $8 million. How did our company do that? They dominated the domestic market, and now they're taking advantage of market diversification and cost benefits to utilize conducting business internationally. And I think that's excellent, because any firm needs to utilize all the tools at its disposal. Sarah, thank you for calling this meeting. And on such short notice, I was able to bring together myself, Ashka, and as you know, Judy and Justin. To begin, I'd like to say thank you for bringing us over here to Thailand. And man, is it hot in here. But more importantly, we like to say how proud we are for this company. And pride, we believe, is a key factor in productivity. And we'll discuss that with you a little later on. Because for now, I understand. You have to talk to your Canadian team in just 3 short hours. That's why we need to get straight to the point. We have ideas to shape our company's leadership, operations, perhaps through innovation, so we can together tackle one fundamental question. How can Crystal Barrier Products, our company, maintain their resident contract and create a transferable model through future international operations? And I'll get right to it. The answer is simple. It's a 3-pronged task. We need quality control, we need to revise the training programs, and we need to source better auxiliary power. So, Sarah, if you're still wondering, yes, we will maintain our contract. So to give you a quick analysis in terms of our quantitative numbers, our profit per annum is $857,000 with our re-signing contract. The important thing to note is that our resident just began in May, and that is why our production per annum will provide us $850,000 in net income. That's key to note. Now, the cost from power outages, if there are approximately 100 power outages per year, that would be nearly 2 per week, would be 4% of our net income, and cost from excess waste, in terms of their 18% waste, as we know, as opposed to what we have at our factories, 5%, will be 6.5% of our total net income, which is key to note. I'll now pass it on to Judy to give you a quick analysis, qualitatively speaking.
Thank you, Ashton. So Sarah, before we go into the details of the recommendation, we must first achieve 3 basic understandings. First, that is about our firm. Second, about our customer, Brazilian in particular, as well as third, about the industry that we're in. To begin with, within our firm, we offer a competitive technology. We offer an oxygen barrier sandwich technology that provides our customers with the advantage of retaining their foods in our plastic packaging. As well, it provides them better inventory management with our just-in-time inventory, as well as just with our 2 business models that we're able to provide, let our customers choose whether to pick finished cup products that can be shipped to them, or leasing our production processes, which obviously gives them the inventory management advantage. As well, we can see that currently our Brazilian contract is very profitable for us, so that's key to maintain. As well as we have a strong sales team that's brought our company from $1 million to $8 million prospectively in the upcoming year. So ultimately, we have a very strong business with our technology. However, there are some risks with these. There is the complex production process that we provide with our strong technology. And I mean, the second business model that we offer our competitors with the licensing of the technology, that provides some complexity to the production process, which we really need to mitigate with a proactive approach moving forward. And the only way we can do this is really to take lessons moving forward, lessons from Thailand, because that is our first licensing agreement after all. As well, with the uncertainty in developing economies such as Thailand, with electricity shutdowns and whatnot, the long start-up and end time, associated with our products also needs to be addressed and mitigated. Going forward, we can see that with our customer, Brazilian, we have a contract that is renewable on a 2-year basis. They are all a good quality firm with clean production facilities and whatnot. So we really should be looking forward to maintaining this contract. As well, this gives us the benefit of saving 6 weeks of travel time, as well as an annual shipping cost of $35,000, providing them the leasing of our production process instead of shipping our finished products to them. Now, this contract gives us 15%, constitutes 15% of our revenue, and this ultimately results in 25% profit. Now, you can see that this is a very profitable contract, and again, I must emphasize that we must maintain this contract. So, however, with the risks of the contract, there are, again, potential complications, as you have faced recently, and that's why today our team is going to call here. There are start and shut down time complications in terms of taking the 45 minutes to restart everything, especially when we have uncontrollable factors such as electricity being down unexpectedly. They are thinking of solution suppliers if we don't address this issue immediately. So almost next time, the critical aspect of this, as well as just the cost risk of us operating internationally, we need to really address this risk as well as that going forward. So we need to immediately respond to this possible customer or moving forward. And as far as the industry goes, first of all, we must emphasize on the fact that it is a 550 million market that you're operating in, with food supply demand growing exponentially with population growing. As you have a versatile technology and product that you can offer, it can not only be provided in fruit cups, which is what the Wisdom contract revolves around, it can also be with soup, meat, fish, beans, or vegetables. So there's lots of growth opportunities for your company moving forward. So we don't only want to address the critical issue that's at hand here today with museum, we also want to develop a transferable international business model that can help you moving forward. Now, some of the alternatives here, so now that you know the situation that is at hand, what must you do? There's three alternatives in general. So to begin with, you can solicitate a new customer. Obviously, that would be the most easiest way out. As with any new company, there's going to be canceling first licensing agreements and other things going along with it. We really need to take a step back and say, hey, we've accompanied this contract, we've already invested so much into this contract, giving them our equipment and know-how and everything. So let's take a step back here and say, do we really want to invest more into this contract and spend more to maintain it? And because I identify the contract to be very profitable, it is very valuable for you to maintain and contain a situation in time right now. The second, you can choose to renegotiate the resigning contract with your customer. However, the contract has already been signed. It's on a 2-year basis. You're already several months into the contract. You've made a commitment with this customer. And because you don't have a stronghold, but you new to the market, there's a need for a license agreement. And the risk of then going to other suppliers, you really want to consider perhaps just contain the issues with the resources that you have at hand, develop your reputation that way, and really look towards going forward, perhaps renewing the contract or renegotiating the contract when the renewal time is up for the next 2-year term, after they have already experienced and have profited from using your technology and whatnot. So at the end of the day, really our recommendation is to rebuild your retail relations, continue to maintain the contract with what you have as resources, and really focus on your customer and here who can provide you with profitable numbers at the end of the day. Now, I want to pass on to my colleague, Justin, who will go over the recommendation.
Thank you very much. So there's a number of issues that need to be addressed in order to fix our production at New Siam. The first thing is the so-called uncontrollable factors that have been affecting production. That includes the humidity, as well as power outages that are commonly occurring here in Cal. Okay. The first thing that we need to do is meet with James Ong, the General Director, and we need to discuss how can we mitigate these factors. Some ideas that we've thought of are purchasing a generator with battery backup capabilities, so to ensure that the machines do not reset, because as we know, there's a 45-minute restart process and a lot of waste involved. As well as getting an AC machine in order to assist in the cooling. That's where the humidity has been wrecking the process, so we need to try and mitigate that. Now, what we're suggesting we go into that meeting with is asking for a 50-50 cost split on this equipment. So sharing the burden between both parties, seeing as it affects both of us so severely. Now, if they agree to this, we need to create a contract regarding the ownership of these products in case the contract is not renewed in 2 years' time. Now, pending the approval of this by both parties, we need to begin research of companies where we can begin purchasing this. We've estimated that both of these units together will cost about $500,000. So if we're splitting it 50-50, that'll cost us $250,000. We're hoping to have this up and running in 3 months' time, as soon as possible, so we can really start fixing our production. The next area in operations that needs some assistance is quality control. As we know, there's a lot of turnover happening at the factory, and how can we mitigate this? Our objective here is to increase production quality. Now, we suggest the way to do that is, first of all of us workers here in Thailand, we need to compile all of our trip notes. Judy got us on a good head start, but we really need to understand all of the issues here and take those home with us and create a report. After that, I would suggest we make an easy reporting structure so that we can begin sending people to Thailand on a monthly basis to overview the production and really fill out these reports so that we know what's going on and how we can fix it. We need to start seeing these problems before they become so crucial as they are right now. Now, since we're here right now, we can wait another month until we need to send another person over. And it's going to cost approximately $2,000 when you include airfare, accommodation, meals, each time a person is sent over. Now, the next step, and this is personally my favorite, is the staff training. We've called this Project Pride. Now, as you know, a lot of the workers, there's a high turnover rate, 40%. And that's because they don't have much pride in the operations right now. Now, most people in developing countries, they don't have a lot of education. I saw this firsthand last summer when I was in Kenya. Now, I was volunteering at a ceramic water filter factory, and there was no turnover. And the reason for this is they knew what nobody else knew, and they were proud of that. They were proud to go to work every day. Now, we need to figure out how can we transfer that to this program. What we're suggesting is, first of all, getting all of our technicians in Canada to make a new curriculum, okay, in order to teach these people and give them the knowledge on how to really run this program. Now, for this curriculum, there's 6 key areas, as we know, in operations. We would suggest 1 week in class, followed by 1 week of work. This will total 3 months for each curriculum for each worker to go all the way through. Now, in order to teach this curriculum, what we recommend is that we would bring 5 of the production managers from Thailand right now, that we would bring them to our operations in Canada, and that we would teach them there. They would come and we would condense it down to 1 month to teach this program, meaning that we would focus less on the actual operational part and more on how do you teach it to the workers. Now, we will teach it to the workers in Thailand with these 5 production managers. And at the end of the program, they can get their certificate or possibly get a new title to really give them pride, to give them something to be proud of. Now, this will take approximately 3 months to implement this new training program. At the end so for the first month, the technicians will make the new curriculum. From months 2 to 3, the production managers from Thailand will come over. And at the end of the 3rd month, we can begin this new curriculum at a cost of about $11,000, all inclusive. And then finally, this brings me to expansion. As some of our sales representatives have seen on this trip, there's a lot of opportunities for expansion. Now, this is our first global expansion, and there's still some kinks that need to be worked out, of course. And we're learning the lessons right now. So that's managing to take care of the uncontrollables, ensuring quality control, and proper training of the workers. Now, what we need to do is take all the information we have on everything that we have done, every single step, and we need to make a streamlined program so that we can expand it to any other factories in the region if they're interested in our products. Now, another thing that we're suggesting is to hire a director of expansion and foreign development, and they would be in charge of overseeing this project, as well as overseeing any type of expansion moving forward. Now, what we recommend here is an external recruitment in order to find this individual. Now, this is going to take about 6 months in order to find a quality candidate, and we would expect to pay them a wage of about $80,000 per year. Now, just a quick recap. In the short term, we need to control the factors that are affecting production right now, the so-called uncontrollables. As well, we need to increase production quality. If we don't re-sign, they're not going to renew that contract with us, and they have begun looking into alternative suppliers. Long term, we need to find a way to mitigate the turnover risk, as well to make this model expandable, so that we really can become an international business. Ashkan will now walk you through the metrics of our program.
Thank you, Justin. Sarah, I hope you're excited as we are for Project Pride. I truly believe that this is exactly what we need to tackle all three factors: leadership, operations, and productivity in Messiah. Now, it's important to note our estimated total cost of $291,000 is for the short term. That would be including the generator and the AC, hiring the managers, teaching the production managers, and beginning the training program in Thailand. Now, this whole time will be 9 months. The reason there's an allocated 6 months extra, because, let me re-begin. The 3 months for the generator, as well as the 3 months for the training program, can be done simultaneously. We've allocated an extra 6 months on the top to review the program and ensure it's running smoothly. After this 6-month period, we believe that the production site will be running at full capacity. And once that happens, the value to us, we understand what we're doing, how we're doing it, but why we're doing it. And our net income, if we renew the contract in a year and a half's time, will be an increase of 10.5% in productivity per year, which means 10.5% increase in our net income, no expenses included, as well as $400,000 net in our pockets. If, for example, we end the contract by that year and a half point, we will have the $500,000 as per salvage value from the generator and the air conditioner, as well as experience for the future. Now we know how to expand internationally. We've learned a lot of lessons, and if we were to end the contract, unfortunately, with Zion, we can easily seek out a new customer. Now, some risks involved would be if Design refused renewal, as I was just stating. And quite simply, we would have salvage value from the generator and we would still be in the green. We would still have net profits. However, one risk is our recruitment risk. What if we can't find the right quality control representative within 3 months? Now, that is a fair bit of time, especially if we seek internally. For example, perhaps Judy or Justin or I could be that person. I know personally I would love to vacation in Thailand once a month for a week at a time. I'm not complaining. Now, if it doesn't work out, however, we can have increased incentives. Perhaps allow them to bring over their spouse or their loved one, or bring over one other person. It would double that initial amount of cost. However, it's not nearly as drastic when we still get the green, and perhaps they'll create enough incentive to find the right quality control representative for the site. Now, another risk could be if the teachers, those that we teach from Thailand, leave, because as we know, there is turnover issues. And as much as we believe that through Pride we can try to solve these issues, it doesn't mean they can be gone forever. Now, if 2 out of the 5 teachers leave, perhaps we can begin processing a training through an online program that would save costs, and with our quality control representative who goes there once a month, he can teach them how to set up, for example, Skype or any overseas calling device. To conclude, in 3 hours, you're going to be on the phone with your Canadian team. You need to tell them to be searching for a quality control representative, and you need to have them begin creating a training plan. We need to train these managers immediately, begin to fuel our production off in Thailand. Sorry. I'll now open the floor to questions. Thank you very much for your time.
I have a question about operations in Thailand. Ultimately, who is accountable in Thailand? Where are the people on a monthly basis? Does somebody identify to be accountable for the situation that arises on a daily basis?
Well, as identified by you, most of the issues currently in Thailand as we're pertaining to this situation is that they're occurring in terms of the plastic quality, they're occurring during the quality process. So we hope that in terms of we implement a strategy approach, we will hold the production process with air conditioning and whatnot to mitigate against the risk of having that quality, as well as their quality control team. They are required to fill in reports, and they are accountable back home to us, so that that's mitigating against the additional cost to have someone stay in Canada and live there with these cost contributors that is available as well. So I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to take a proactive approach with the documentation that is sent back to us, and that is our trusted person who we can give responsibility to over in Thailand. provide us with information.
In which changes specifically? Yes, it's very important that we maintain quality control. And cultural sensitivity training is also very important so that our people in Canada are very aware of all the issues culturally in town.
So my question is about the training program. What are the future opportunities in terms of expansion? Do you guys see it for that?
No, definitely. And those 5 people, they're an initial start. And they're going to be the teachers of the program in Thailand. So the rest of the workers, they will in fact be learning in Thailand.
This expected to be a solution that will actually renegotiate contract with you and try to change some of the processes. How do you propose to do that?
Now, in terms of renegotiating the contract, would that be for the generator solid value person? Now, immediately what we have when we decide to purchase the generator, we hope to create that plan of 50-50 as we discussed. Now, perhaps we could use an internal facilitator to deal with the legal differences for this winding contract, so that if their contract were to end in a year and a half, our original contract were to not renew, we could effectively have some sort of solid value. So most probably we would do it with a facilitator.